So I left my job. It's only temporary. I basically decided I'm gonna take a leave of absence for a year to pursue some of the interests that I have outside of work full time, because I sort of gave myself the time to think about the kind of person that I am and how I work best. And doing the 9 to 5 and then the 5 to 9 grind just isn't how I work best. This must come as a shock to anyone who followed or joined after my day in the life. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll still be making content, I think, when I go back to work in a year's time. But obviously for the upcoming 12 months in 2024, I won't be making any corporate content unless, of course, it's like Q&As. But yeah, if you can't tell, I'm currently away in nature, which has really been lovely, to be honest. I'm here with my parents. We're just taking a break. And I'm sort of giving myself the rest of the year to just decompress and relax. I don't know, I'm nervous. On the one hand, I want it to go well, but on the other hand, it's a chance for me to just try without the expectation of achieving something, which I think is really important for me. And no matter which way it goes, no matter what the outcome is, I think it would be a good experience because I would have learned things about myself, whether it's through success or failure. I guess this is the first, or I guess the intro to many more videos, hopefully. It'd be nice to catalog my time away from work in the next year online, so I have a record for myself. So if I look back in whatever amount of time, I can sort of see where I came from, what I was like at the start, and then what I was like at the end. So you'll probably get more frequent videos from me, but they'll probably be just more casual videos, which I hope is okay and that you guys like. But also at the same time, it's what I kind of want to do. So you'll see different kinds of videos pop up. I'm trying out my brand. But if there is a type of video you really want to see or you want to see more of, please comment and I will do my best. We also had a little excursion planned to the cathedral ranges the day before New Year's Eve, and the hike itself was only 4 hours round trip, but the elevation was definitely the killer. But the view was well worth it.
I like that. It's game changer with the aim for where you like it.
I'll be your number one with a bullet. I love it, got complex, cock it and pull it.
Hello. It is 3:30, January 1st, 2025. No, 2024. I have not done much today at all because I was a bit sick in the morning. Now I'm going to change the bed sheets and then we have to head out for a family gathering at like 5-ish for the rest of the evening. Even though I'm not going to be getting as much done on the first day of the year, I guess it's the same sentiment as when people say you don't have to wait until a new year to start something new. You can just start it whenever you want. Similarly, you don't have to do something or start something or change completely because it's the first day of the year. So I'm showing myself some more compassion and I'm taking the time that I need to do the things that I want to do, which is what this year is all about. So I know there's like a special technique where you lay your blanket out and you turn your doona cover inside out and then put it on top and then do some black magic, and it is easier to do, but I don't know, I always like doing it just taking the top corner of my blanket, finding the top corner of my sheet, so I go in like so, and then I follow the edge along to the other corners, and then you just, oh, done. One of my friends introduced me to this thing called Project Year Compass. It's kind of like a reflection journaling exercise. It essentially prompts for you to reflect on the year that's just passed and then also to sort of look forward to the future and plan for what you want for the upcoming year. And they Seems like they refresh it every year. I don't know if they change the contents of it, but I thought it'd be a really interesting activity to do, and I'm gonna do it on my iPad. I'm gonna listen to some ambient Studio Ghibli music. I've actually been really wanting to go through all of the soundtracks of the movies to find the song that I like the best, because when I was away with my parents, we had a really nice view of the rolling hills and the clouds and everything, and it was really beautiful to just spend some time watching. It's thunderstorming, or it will be thunderstorming soon, so that excuse the thunder. But it was really beautiful just spending time watching nature with like the soundtrack in the back. But obviously not all of the music in each of the soundtracks is for relaxing too, so I am gonna go through all the classic soundtracks and try and find music that I really like and put them on a playlist. In the past, I've never just given myself the opportunity to have relaxing activities like this for the sake of having a relaxing activity, so I'm gonna give myself that today, and then I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm sorry if the rain's really loud. I just finished the past year, and the upcoming year is 6 pages. There was like a question that's like, if you had to name your year that just passed, what would it be named? And I was like, I don't even have an impression of what last year was like. It barely registers in my brain. Thankfully, there's an activity at the beginning where you have to look at a calendar and write down all the major things that happen every month. Without that, I would have forgotten a lot of things that had happened, which is like inevitable, but I don't know. Does anyone else get that? I've heard it's like COVID brain. That's why you're like not as sharp when it comes to memories and things like that. Or maybe it's just age, or maybe it's my attention span getting worse. I don't know. It'd be really interesting to hear if it's just me. I doubt it, but what anyone else has to say about it. I'm gonna get ready and go to the gym and then do this when I come back. Let's play a game called These Are All the Ways That Procrastination Has Ruined Tina's Life. I was meant to go to the gym at like 6. For some reason, I procrastinated doing that even. So I ended up heading to the gym at like 6:30. I got to the gym at 6:40. I literally have an email from the gym that I've been saving in my inbox so that I don't forget about these hours that they have around the public holidays. And like they shut at 7 today. And I was literally walking upstairs, texting, and then it hit me and I was like, oh, I need to run. So I literally ran into the gym and I was like to the front desk lady, I was like, you guys close in 20 minutes, right? She's like, yeah, you can do a really quick workout if you want. Now, it's kind of good because I have always been of the opinion, I mean, I've only been gymming for like 3 months really, like since end of September consistently. But I was like, oh, I can smash out my pool day routine in like 20-30 minutes if I really needed to. But all the other ones, that's like an hour commitment, right? I did 3 of my 5 exercises today in like 18 minutes, 15 minutes flat. But that being said, I had barely any breaks. The machines I needed to use were free completely the whole time. And my form was not the greatest. And I didn't warm up properly. I just kind of stretched a little bit. So it's not the best, but it's okay. We're all human. We make mistakes. This is just how the world is sometimes. It doesn't reflect on us. It's just you win some, you lose some. I'm gonna do the other 2 exercises when I go to the gym next. I'll probably be really tired, but that's what you get. So I'm going to go home now after my 20-minute sojourn. As I mentioned, I've been working out consistently now for about 3 months, and I try to go 3 times a week, but it's finally gotten to the place where I sort of have a routine. And even though I'm still a beginner, I still feel really proud when the weights start getting easier and my strength and mobility start improving. For example, I couldn't do these knee push-ups properly 5 in a row before, and you can tell how surprised I am. I always think about Maki. She's really strong. And I'm like, hey, you're training to be like Maki. And just finished playing the Diver Dave demo and it's so good. You have to log in again. We're gonna get it on the eShop now, but we're gonna get the game and we're gonna play the full game, and I will give you guys reviews if you want as we're playing it. I'll probably be playing this day and night. I did it again. I procrastinated on cooking. Why? It's literally, you need it to live. Why would I procrastinate this? Come on, man. Okay, we're making vermicelli noodle salad. It's very easy. The sauce is already made by my lovely boyfriend. He saved me all this trouble. I just have to make the chicken, which is already marinated, which he did. Oh God. I'm gonna ignore the fact that I haven't even done the dishes from lunch. Okay, we're going to chop. And while I chop, we're going to talk about the symbolism in Boy and the Heron. So the first motif in Boy and the Heron, in my opinion, is stone. Every piece of rock that shows up in this movie has a different meaning behind it. The first instance I can think of is coming back from the school and he hits himself with the rock so that he doesn't have to go to school. Like he said himself, that is like a symbol of his maliciousness, his heart for violence. And then obviously there's the rock that fell, the earth that the great uncle then built the tower around, the one that has a consciousness when Himi is like, the stone knows we're here and it like actively rejects them. That represents like sentience, right? It represents a conscious thing that can discern between good and bad and what it wants and what it doesn't want. There's the tomb, like behind the Golden Gate, which I never really figured out what that was all about. And then obviously there's the building blocks that the great uncle was trying to get Mahito to use and touch so that he could become his successor. Represent obviously the building blocks of life, but that again is like, it's an inanimate object that is a tool that's used as a conduit to enable things. The second thing obviously is the birds. You have the heron, the pelicans, and the parakeets, and they are introduced alongside this like threat of violence, which I think is so like strange and jarring. You start off with the heron who threatens, I'm going to eat your heart, but he never actually follows through with it. Then you have the pelicans who don't eat humans. Well, they try to eat Mahito, but they eat the warawaras. So it's like a pseudo sort of violence. And then you have obviously the parakeets who like wield knives and, you know, very humanoid tools and weapons. You know, they have a butcher's room in the tower, for God's sake, which is a very real threat of violence. I don't know what that is all about and why they're introduced in like an increasing level of risk. Maybe it's to increase the tension in the movie and the pacing and to make the viewer like feel uneasy because, you know, the animals get cuter. Like the first is like this weird half bird, half man guy, which, you know, would unnerve anybody. It's really disturbing to look at. And the pelicans are normal, but they're like bloodthirsty pelicans. And then the parakeets are just like downright dang adorable. They're like the most violent ones and the most bloodthirsty. Probably is to an extent an element to enhance how bizarre this dream water world actually is. Which brings me to my third point, which is probably the motif of fire and water. Because you start off fire in the flames that consumed Mahito's mother. Which, by the way, my favorite scene in the movie, animated beautifully. There was something about it that wasn't just pure hand animation, which I really liked. And coupled with like the sound design, it was just really, really visceral to watch. The fire that consumed Mahito's mother and the fire that consumes his sleeping hours, his dreams. Ironically, you know, they don't follow him into the dream world. Ironically, when he enters it, what he starts coming in contact with is water. Like when he first tries to kill that heron and he fails and he passes out, he's floating in water before he comes to on his bed. It's almost like, not a baptism, it's like a cleansing of reality and like what you know. That's probably not Miyazaki's intention, but it's what it visually sort of makes me think of. I also feel like on some levels it could represent the present / the future. He leaves behind this world of reality into this fantasy world that's just water. Like Mahito describes it as like a sea world. Everyone gets their sustenance from the sea. You know, Kiriko's the only one that can kill things in the ocean and feed the ghost people. Like there is no fire there except for Himi. And Himi represents the past. She's from the past. They go through different doors into different timelines, and she even says like, I'm gonna go back to my timeline and I'm gonna be your mom in the future. And I don't know where all of that is going in terms of what that underlying thread that Miyazaki's trying to say. I feel like there's something there about fire versus water and the way that they are juxtaposed and like foiled against each other. All in all, a really good movie. If you get the chance to, I really recommend you watch it.
If you look for it, I've got a sneaky feeling you'll find that Love Actually is all around.
It's really cold out here. It's beautiful, but it's cold.